Guys, Dane Brugler, who is a friend of the program, we love Dane, does a great job previewing, scouting for the NFL draft, put out his official mock draft 2.0 yesterday. And let's take Tagboard full to see his top 10 picks in the upcoming mock draft. He has the Titans taking Cam Ward first, the Browns drafting Abdul Carter second, the edge rusher out of Penn State. He has Travis Hunter going to the Giants at number 3. Tet McMillan, the receiver, going to the Patriots at 4. Will Johnson to the Jags at 5. Shador Sanders falling to the Raiders at 6. Mason Graham to the Jets at 7. Jalen Walker to the Panthers at 8. Malachi Starks to the Saints at 9. And Josh Simmons, the Buckeyes offensive tackle, to the Bears at 10. Here's what he wrote. Here's what he wrote about Abdul Carter to the Browns. Just to give you the little write-up. Dane said, "It is likely that Deshaun Watson has played his final snap for the Cleveland Browns, so a quarterback certainly will be on the table here, but I don't expect Cleveland to force the pick if the right fit isn't there. Carter playing opposite of Myles Garrett would be a scary thought for opposing defenses." For the sake of this conversation, guys, let's say they don't take a quarterback and they don't trade down, that they do select a non-quarterback at number 2. Is Abdul Carter the right pick? Is Travis Hunter the right pick? Or is someone else the right pick for the Browns at 2?
Man, that's a good question.
How about I start?
Go ahead.
You don't pick.
You trade it?
You trade. You trade down.
All right, but in theory, we're going to go.
In theory,
you're right.
Yeah.
Let's say they traded down to 4 or 5 and you still have the same decision.
I do agree with that.
Mikey, give me the big board one more time from Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and take tag, we're full here. Yeah, there we go. Here's the top 10.
Abdul Carter. How do you pronounce that guy? Is that a wide receiver?
Yeah, it's Tet, just call him Tet McMillan. It's Tet Rioa.
Travis
McMillan.
Hunter, Will Johnson. Who's the best offensive lineman? Josh Simmons?
Simmons.
Josh Simmons. Yeah, so I was just.
Oh, it's not the dude from LSU, huh?
I was gonna say, you could take an offensive lineman there. So he's got Simmons his highest rated tackle.
Go Bucks.
Like that would be an option, sure. I don't know. I mean, I think that Abdul Carter makes sense because if I'm not gonna take a quarterback there, I'm not gonna go skill position. I'm either trading down or I'm gonna build my offensive and defensive lines back up because that is where they're weak right now. I think.
If I'm not taking a quarterback, the 2 picks, it's 3 picks. I take Abdul, Travis, or Mason Graham. Those 3. If they took one of those 3 picks, I'll be good with that. The reason you take Carter is because him, Miles, and Mike Hall, man, that's nasty. But if you put Mason Graham in the middle, see, now the double teams is gone, and if Mike Hall continues to climb that mountain, now you got 3 guys. And
but we don't know that Mike Hall's a starter in the NFL yet.
Mike Hall?
Yeah.
I thought he played well.
He just started. What are you talking about?
He played well.
He hasn't played enough. He was hurt twice last year.
He started like the last, 3
Didn't he get hurt at the end of the year?
Yeah, he also suffered a pretty serious leg injury.
Yeah,
in
he
the
got
last
hurt
game,
badly at the end of the year.
Hey, he's a Buckeye. We're good. The Travis Hunter thing.
Maybe we can get, what's his name, that scrub the Bengals drafted to play center, Billy Price.
Hey, chill out. You watch your mouth.
Come on.
What you do is you go watch your mouth, okay? Listen, now anyways, Travis Hunter. The Travis Hunter thing is interesting to me, and it's the most intriguing to me because he could fill 2 voids. We talk about the Denzel Ward thing, about how maybe he's 1 or 2 concussions away. If Denzel gets a concussion or he gets hurt like he does, if Denzel right now, with the roster constructed the way it is, if Denzel is out, and you got Genu, MJ Emerson, and Cam Mitchell.
Yeah. And by the way, Genu and Emerson both final years of their contracts.
Right. Are you comfortable paying either one?
No.
My point exactly.
Yeah.
So with Denzel out, those are your 3 guys in nickel package. How confident you feel?
I'm just nervous, man, having 2 corners that are 170 pounds, man.
I understand that. I get that. He also will get bigger.
Who's the best football player in this draft? Who is the best football player?
I mean, he won the Heisman.
I don't know.
He won the Heisman.
I mean,
that doesn't mean he's the best football player.
I know. This is a really difficult question.
And then on top of that, now flip it, he could play corner. So you got
the best football player in this draft is probably Cam Scatterbo, honestly.
He's the best player?
I'm joking, but I mean, I'm not really joking. He's a football, like in terms of a football player, like who's the best football player?
Yeah.
It's impossible to say. There were so many good players.
They got to stick together.
What? The white boys?
Got to stick together. Anyways, I just think that due to the fact that you will have another corner, whether you feel good about MJ Emerson or not, you still got another guy. If you don't feel good about Genu, you still got another guy. Like to me, you can never have enough corners. And if that pass rush is good, if Isaiah McGuire is going to be good and Alex Wright can come back and still be good, like I think those guys can still be effective. I think the reason that this defense worked at a high level is because that secondary played at a high level to where the pass rush got home, but the reason the pass rush got home is because they had nowhere to go with the ball. If you're giving them a chance to go somewhere with the ball, the pass rush don't really matter because if they can get the ball out their hands in 2 to 3 seconds, the pass rush is never effective. With all that being said, I do like Abdul Carter because he went crazy against Notre Dame with one shoulder. With one, he had something was hurt. He had one.
Are we raising his stock based on one game?
Did you watch him all year?
I'm about to say.
I did not.
He was awesome. Yeah, he's been good all year. I'm still not going. I still think Chop Robinson from last year was better, but that dude definitely is a good football player.
And Chop Robinson had a good rookie season too, man. Something about wearing that number 11, Micah Parsons, LeVar Arrington, they're studs, man.
So the Carter thing real quick, if you're unfamiliar. He was recruited as an off-ball linebacker, similar to Micah Parsons, got moved to defensive end. This was his first year playing defensive end and was one of the most disruptive pass rushers in all of college
football. So he wasn't a
football.
great player before this year?
No, just like Micah Parsons was a good off-ball linebacker, got moved to defensive end because he was a great pass rusher, then exploded as a defensive end. Penn State did the exact same thing with Abdul Carter, and then he exploded again as a pass rusher.
Where was he being talked about before the season? Was he thought of as a top 10
first
pick?
round.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not changed.
No,
he's a great player, but they found where he can really excel is just going and getting after the quarterback. I mean, he's obviously very athletic. He's proven he can play linebacker off ball, but to be able to put your hand in the dirt a little bit and go get the quarterback the way he's done this year just increases his value. That's why he's going to be the number 2 pick.
All right, put up the draft top 10 again, Mike, please, because I'm going to ask you guys this question. When you look at this list of top 10 players, forget the quarterbacks for a minute.
Okay.
Of the other guys on that list, and this is just your opinion, it's a hard question. Just give me your best guess.
You can't miss?
Who not can't miss necessarily, but who of the other guys besides the quarterbacks, tell me which guys you think have a very good chance to be a perennial Pro Bowler. I know it's a tough question.
Mason Graham.
Mason Graham.
He's the only one?
No, that's the one that popped out.
That's the one that popped out first, Mason Graham.
So is he a little lower because he's a defensive tackle?
Yeah, but
so what about these other guys?
He could easily be the number 2 pick.
Do you think there's a very good chance that bring it up again, guys, so I can see it? Travis Hunter.
Or what?
Yes or no? Travis Hunter.
What do you mean, like a Pro Bowler?
Is he play at that level? Will he play at that level in the NFL if you had to bet?
I would say yes.
You're hesitant, yes.
He's an elite.
He's a talent.
Athlete,
he's an elite talent.
Football player, elite talent, all those things. Yeah, I think I'd be surprised. And he's a hard worker,
right?
Which is something we don't talk about
if
enough.
True. If he leave his girl,
he should leave the girl.
Oh my God, she's awful. Yeah. All right. What about Tet McMillan?
He scares me because
you're not sold.
No, he scares me because he's had some unbelievable games. Like I think his first game of last year was like like 300-400 yards in the game receiving. So but then it's like moments where he just don't like. I think he has a separation issue.
Right.
For some odd reason, I just don't think he creates. He catches a lot of contested passes, which means that he doesn't create a lot of separation.
His comp is Drake London. That's the kind of play big
I don't want to take Drake London. I like Drake London, but I don't want to take him.
No, I'm not saying he's bad, but 6'5", good athlete. But to Tyvis' point,
Drake London's really good, but he's not worth the second pick in the draft.
I agree.
I guess the question I'm trying to get to is, if the Browns traded down to 6 with the Raiders,
I'd take Mason Graham.
Are they going to miss out on an elite level player? Are there 4 non-quarterbacks that you think are elite level players?
Carter, Graham, Hunter. Let me see that list again. Carter, Hunter, Graham.
Jalen Walker?
What about Will Johnson? I know he played for
Will Johnson.
Will Johnson. Will Johnson is one of those guys because I had to do a breakdown of him on the Big Ten. Will Johnson is one of those corners that I love the fact that he does a great job of playing press and he can play off. And what I really like about him is I think he understands the game of football. What I worry about is injury and is he fast enough?
Yeah.
Those are the two things that when he put his hand down on that ground and run that 40, that's going to tell me everything I need to know as far as that goes. But I do think that he's a very, very smart and intelligent footballer. He can dissect what's going on and he can jump a play.
Okay.
That I do like that about him.
The Browns, Andrew Berry, in my opinion, has done a below-average job of drafting. Does anybody disagree? Want to argue he's been better than that?
Say below average?
I'd say below
I
average
agree.
job of drafting.
I agree.
He has to hit it out of the park. Absolute grand slam this year.
If the Browns trade down, if they trade down from 2,
if they draft a defensive tackle at 6, the fans are going to – not that you should make a decision for this reason, but if they draft a defensive tackle at 6, Browns fans are going to go absolutely crazy.
Especially one from Michigan.
that
Especially one from Michigan.
No, because
Michigan player. A lot of Michigan players end up good players in the NFL.
Zach Zinter?
Well, not him.
Not that this should change. Not that this should change anyone's opinion, but I just pulled up ESPN's best available players. This is overall.
Yeah.
I just want to give you their top 10 real quick.
Go ahead. Who did this list?
This is their scout school, so it's the culmination of
Okay.
all their draft guys. They put a cumulative grade.
All right.
Number 1 overall player in the draft, Abdul Carter.
Okay.
Number 2, Travis Hunter. Number 3, Mason Graham. So those are your top 3.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Ashton Genty at 4. Will Johnson at 5. Michael Williams from Georgia at 6. Nick Scourton, the edge rusher from A&M at 7. James Pierce Jr., the edge rusher from Tennessee at 8. Shador Sanders at 9. And Josh Simmons at 10.
Go Bucks!
By the way, I'll say this. If Shador Sanders is in fact the 9th best player in this draft, now this is just an opinion. If he is, then it's a no-brainer you draft him at 2. 100%. 100%, it's not even a debate.
Any quarterback that's, top
Yeah,
12.
Right. If he was the 38th prospect.
Wait a minute. What do you mean at 2? He'd be gone at 1.
Well, okay, I'm saying, if he's there at 2, you're right, he could go at 1. Where do they have Cam Ward?
18th.
Yeah,
Same
all right.
difference. That's fine too.
Ultimately,
honestly, the difference between 18 and 1 is there's 32 teams,
right?
So you got all these different people that some people may think that Cam Ward's by far the best. Some people may have him at 40.
Yeah, and the grade difference. So they give each player a grade. Abdul Carter at 1's in 92, and Cam Ward at 18's in 89. So it's a 3-point difference. So it's not like they're saying there's a ginormous gap between player A and player B.
All right.
So
it's going to be fascinating. Plenty of time to talk about this.
So we'll wrap it up real quick. If it comes down to Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, just those two, for the sake of the poll we put in the chat, because these are two most polarizing names. Tyvis, you had to pick one of those two for the Browns at 2. Hunter, Abdul Carter.
Oh, my
Who you
God.
taking? We're going around the horn.
Travis Hunter.
1 for Hunter. Dustin, if it has to be Carter or Hunter, who are you taking?
Hunter gets people excited. It's a sexy pick, but I think Carter is probably the better play. The more sure thing, even though there's not a sure thing, to me it'd be Carter.
So 1 for
now,
each. Bull, you're the tiebreaker.
Listen, I don't know enough about either player, so this is not a fair guess by me.
Laugh about
Because it's so tough.
But I will say that
It's so hard.
ultimately, if Abdul Carter is as good as you guys think he is,
He's good. They both good players.
Myles Garrett has never
I hear you.
played with a special player on the D-line. Never. Not once in his entire career, while T.J. Watt's played with a number of them. If Abdul Carter's a special player, I gotta do that for Myles Garrett. And I gotta do it for the team.
How many sacks did Myles have last year?
14.
Yeah.
How many he had this year?
Oh, last year's in.
He was 23.
24?
Yeah.
I think he had 14 back-to-back years. I'll confirm for you in
something
one
like
sec,
that.
but I think it was 14 in back-to-back years. According to the ESPN stats page, Myles Garrett had 14 this season, and last season, I got to click one button, he had 14. His last 4 seasons, 16, 16, 14, 14.
Yeah.
So Myles is gonna get 14 regardless. It's something about a good corner. Something about a good corner.
What do you think the chat said? I gave them the option. What do you think the percentage?
Hey, Abdul
100%.
Carter.
No, I think
Travis
They
Hunter.
said 1,000%. They said
I
Abdul
say
Carter.
62% Travis Hunter.
70-30 Abdul Carter.
70-30 Hunter.
Okay.
70-30 Abdul Carter.
Told you.
Wow,
Oh,
good call,
I
Tyvis.
already know that.
I'm shocked.
The
Everybody,
chat is in on Abdul Carter. man.
everybody watched that Notre Dame game and
Yeah,
how he
yeah.
wrecked shop in that game. Now, take a granted start. Notre Dame's offensive line ain't that great to begin with, but he would to do that on an injury like that and the way he was. I mean, he was flying, wrecking shit. It was like unbelievable. So, and that's on the front of everybody's mind. The one scary part about the Travis Hunter experiment is level of competition. Nobody respects the Big 12 anyways. I mean, obviously, Arizona State was the best thing out of there. They flamed out after one round.
Arizona State's in the Big 12?
Yes,
Yeah,
weird.
this their first year. Yeah, they flamed
won the
out
Big
after
12.
the one. They flamed out after the first round. So it's like, okay, if he dominated Big 12 talent, could he do the same thing in the SEC? Could he do the same thing with the Big 10? To where Abdul Carter has the luxury of being in right now the best conference.
Right. How did he play against Ohio State?
No, he had 2 sacks.
Oh, that was from nothing to 2
Nothing
sacks.
to 2 sacks is quite the difference.
Yeah,
I think
right.
he had 2 sacks.
Yeah, he played
I
well.
mean, so he played so that means he's played well against
But
the 2 teams playing for the national championship.
To be fair,
Uh-huh.
Donovan Jackson, that was his first game at left tackle. He went from left guard to left tackle. That was his first game at left tackle.
and he's going to be a pretty
All
high.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Donovan still should be a first or second round pick, but
But you could say Abdul
it
Carter.
was it's hard to really say like he went off against Ohio State.
Well, he did, though.
It was
I mean,
the
you
first
can't-
time a guy played left tackle.
You know, tough tomatoes. He.
I just want to make
That is the cheesiest
I just
thing
want
I've ever
I just
said.
want to put the full
Yeah.
facts out there that Donovan Jackson was his first game playing left tackle.
So he played well against the 2 teams playing for the national championship.
yes.
All right. So
There it is.
interesting debate. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we got 3 more months to talk
I
about.
can't wait to dive into. We're going to end up doing deep dives on all the top prospects
Oh,
who
yeah.
could potentially be Browns, and
Well, it's the first time that the Browns have had a first-round pick since we've been on the. Since the
and
show's
we
been
can
on the
actually
air.
use some college footage. We can't use NFL footage in any capacity.
Yeah.
We can use college footage so we can get some get
Nice.
creative in some of the ways
Nice,
we break
yeah.
down some of the stuff. All right, guys.
By the way, let me throw one more thing.
Shoot. Yeah.
Let's say the Browns do trade down.
Okay.
Is there a point, even in the top 10, that you would consider taking Ashton Genty?